Hello, fabulous people out there. You are watching Truth Talks TV. I am your host, Katerina Illick, and here I am with my amazing guest, Preston Smiles. Thank you for joining me, Preston. It's a pleasure to have you.
No, for sure. Yeah.
As I just told Preston himself, Preston's got this really cool, like, chill, soulful vibe. So this is what we're intending for this. Just this like chill.
Be in the flow, right?
Yes, beautiful. So yeah, who is Preston Smiles? Tell the world in just a couple sentences what we need to know about you.
I am the sum total of everyone. We all have magical stories, and mine's is nothing less than like off the hook.
Yeah.
In short, I was in a gang.
Okay.
I've got kicked out of at least 5 different schools. I moved to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for a while to sort of get away, where I was the only black person in an entire white school, which was amazing.
Wow.
So trippy. It was such a good experience for me, which most would be like, what? That could kind of be, I was like an alien. Like,
yeah, right. I could imagine.
Like, a black person! Like, entire school.
Wait, how old were you then? Was that like high school or something?
Yeah, I was 15 and a half. Yeah.
Oh my God.
16, somewhere around there. Yeah, so I've had quite the journey. So it's funny when people see me who used to know me back in the day, and they see my Facebook or they see me and they're like I ran into a dude on Melrose the other day, and he was like, it was funny, he was going into a medical marijuana shop, and I was like walking by, and he was like, P! And I was like, I looked up and he was like, Preston? I'm like, yeah. He was like, yo, man, I gotta tell you, man, that thing you doing, man, just keep doing that, man. Your Facebook, we all need that, man. It's kind of trippy because, you used to be a whole nother dude. And I'm like, I know.
Wow. Wow, and that's something I didn't know about you, because I only see this side of what I'm seeing on Facebook and through the Love Mob, which we'll get to in a second. But so I don't see that side of you as well. What was it that got you out of that life?
A friend of mine died, and it was interesting because it was my first true understanding of what intuition is. And I'm going to tell you this story because it's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I had a basketball game, right? And my friends were on their way to come get me. They came to my house, and they said, yo, we're going to go out. You do the same thing all the time, right? My friend Rudy had this van, this blue Astro van, and we would go out and get alcohol and be silly kids. And
blue Astro van, I'm sorry, I love that. Yes, I think we had an Astro van growing up, too.
And we would do stupid things, right? And they came to my house, and my friend Scott came in, and he was like, yo, let's go. And I was like, nah, man, I think I'm going to stay. And he was like, don't be a pussy, And I'm like, no, I think I'm good, dude. Like, something is telling me not to go, so I'm cool. I have a game tomorrow anyway. You guys go ahead. Within 2 hours, everybody in that car was shot.
Oh,
and
my God.
My friend Scott was shot in the head. So he died. And we used to fight over the front seat. When you're a kid, the front seat is the best seat.
Shotgun, right?
And that's why he died, because he was in the front seat.
God.
He was next to the gun. So that was the first time I was like, wow, I am being saved over and over and over again, and I need to listen to the signals. God didn't stop talking in a book. God is always talking.
Yes, exactly.
And that was one of those moments where I was like, when I got the call, I broke down. I lost my mind. But when I really let it sit on me, I was like, why was I not in that car? Why did I not fight for the front seat that day? Why did I say no?
Right.
Because I'm being saved.
Right.
Because I have a story to tell. I have a purpose on this earth.
Yes.
And in order. So my thing is, it's easy to speak to someone, right? And at someone. But when you're speaking from the inside out, when you know what it's like to be brainwashed and conditioned, and then to be able to come and take yourself far out of it, where you can see what it really is, that's my testimony, you know? So I'm thankful for all of that, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that is amazing. What an amazing story. And like you said, people often say, you know, the Bible, if you're ever in the church world, the Bible is the Word of God. And I'm like, oh my God, no, like we are the Word of God. Like we are the Word of
Exactly.
God made
My
flesh.
life is the Word of God. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So, wow, thank you for sharing that story. That is just amazing. So, some of the things that I know about you, you do have like a surf school, and I think you do some modeling and acting and things like that. And then one of the things too is that you're one of the founders of the Love Mob.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
can you tell us what is the Love Mob? What inspired it? What is the vision of it?
The Love Mob it's like a big community, basically. It's a global campaign igniting a multi-generational movement promoting love as a lifestyle. So, in short, we are organized acts of love.
Yeah.
So we do what most people would call a flash mob, but it has a consciousness under it. So, like not the last one we did, but the one before that was at Skid Row, and we had Michael Beckwith and quite a few people come and speak there and be a part of it. It was a clothing drive block party. But what most don't know, which I'm revealing now, is that we didn't really care about the clothes. I had been down there for months and months and months being with those people. And for the most part, nobody's starving down there. They get fed every day.
Okay.
And while they do need supplies, more than anything, it was about bringing you. And you, and you, and you, all the people in this community who believe that that is separate, and putting us all in the same space where we could rock out. Wow. So, and we accomplished that, you know? At one point I looked up and I was like, everybody's dancing, my mom is here, hugging all these homeless people, everybody's just getting down. It's not, those are the drug addicts, those are the homeless, it's us, one.
Oh, that is so beautiful.
Everybody has a purpose on this earth, and we have many of them. And our thing is that you get to move and do from where you can. And one of the things that the Love Mob has in place is this giant, beautiful community of people who all have these great hearts. That's how we suction cup to each other. Yeah. That's how I'm on this call with you.
Yeah.
You are of that cloth. You are on that frequency. Right?
Right.
And the planet right now, it's calling forth a bunch of way showers. You know, before it was just like Gandhi, Martin Luther King, you know, Mother Teresa, right? Now it's like bing, 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 Preston, Katerina. I mean, it's like it's nonstop.
Yeah.
Right? Thus, we create a love mob that, you know, coagulates and brings all that together and go boom. We're actually doing another event on the 23rd. So if any of you guys are in LA or anywhere in California, you want to come down, we're doing something called The Beat, which is a giant jam session comprised of all of these amazing artists and people who do sing and don't sing, and people who, you know, will bang on drums, on the floor, pots and pans, whatever it is, and we create this sound dome, essentially.
Wow.
And experiment with what it's like to just be in the vibration of music.
Yes. Powerful. That's May 23rd?
Yes, May 23rd at Think Tank Gallery.
Okay.
But you can find it on our website or on Facebook at Facebook.com/The Love Mob.
Yeah, and I'll include all of the info where they can get all this information and everything too. So here's a really simple question, but I think it can actually be much deeper. I love the hat. What is, you know, love really? Because people, you know, all over the place are throwing around this word, but as we know, I think as most can probably agree, it's like it can be used very lightly too. You're like, oh yeah, I love this person. Oh, you know, and it's just like it could just be like this. You know, like, what is it really at the core of it? You know, it's like, instead of just like when somebody says, I love you, you're like, oh, I love you too. You know, like, you know, almost when you say I love you, sometimes you're like expecting the person, like, you're saying, I love you, because you want them to go like, I love you too. You know, it's like, no, like, what is love really?
Well, that expectation already is not love.
Yeah.
Like when we do anything and expect something back, that's conditional, which is not love, because love is unconditional. You know, I gotta take the hat back off for this one. That's a poignant and amazing question. A super loaded one. You know, we could talk about this for 16 hours straight.
Yeah.
Because everybody will have a different version of that.
Right.
But my version of what love is you know, it's me. It's you. It is. We are the breath of God. You know, we are the manifestation of the thing of the name, the unnamed.
Right. Right.
The thing that has no name.
Yes.
Basically. You know. So when I just really, really slow down and tap in and do that, that yin and yang, that in breath and out breath, there's so much in that. And all the masters have taught that. You know, we get so caught up in all the complications. But when you just slow it down, sit down, and go within, it all shows up. So, for me, love is constantly checking in with who I'm being. Because all of it happens in the now. While the soul does want to know everything, it wants to know everything so it can know the truth of its being, which is love. And whether it's in the Bible or a million other historic texts, it always comes down to love. Yeah. That is the one thing that is the truth for every religion and every philosophy. So, for me, it is in the slowing down and in the beingness.
I've seen, I think, a video that you shared. It was something that you were talking about, like be, do, have, right? And so it's like all of this, everything else comes from this place of beingness. Can you elaborate on that? We try to do and have, and then be versus be. You know what I mean? Like
exactly. A lot of the times we do it opposite. We do a whole bunch, thinking that'll give us something, which is the having part. And then from that place, when I'm rich and I have my house and I have my BMW and all these things, then I'll be a certain way.
Right.
But it's the exact opposite. Right. It's in the beingness that creates the action, which creates the thing. And when we drop far enough into the beingness, then the things don't even matter anymore.
Right.
Which is, you know, one of my mentors and teachers, Michael Beckwith, and Nirvana Gale, always say that, you know, what's available to Einstein is also available to me. And what's available to Richard Branson is also available to me, because it's a universal mind.
Right.
But they don't have limits, you know? So the question, at least in that aspect, so the question is, what do I need a new idea about? You know, because when it comes to abundance, I can say, oh yeah, I am abundant in friendship. And that is absolutely true. In my being, it doesn't matter what my words say, in my being that's true to me.
Yeah.
Therefore, I am abundant in friends. Because you can't live in two worlds. You can't say one thing here and on the inside be another thing.
Wow, right.
Because the universe is way bigger than what we could ever imagine. It's God. God knows everything. You can't hide anything from God. So when Richard Branson says, I am abundant in finances, and he says it, his being also says it.
Yes, right.
Therefore, the universe has no choice but to match that. And yes, there is work involved. Not so much hard work as it is right work and smart work. Which is a whole other thing about the American dream that we've been bamboozled into. Work hard, we'll get everything.
Right. No, I think if you come from that flow, right, when you're tapped into that beingness, any work that comes from there is like, it'll create exponentially.
For sure.
Way more than we can by our efforting and our trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why is it that then some of these people, like a Richard Branson perhaps, or some, don't have as many limitations. Whereas, you know, it's like, is it just because of maybe conditioning? All of us come from a different place. That like for some it's so easy just to believe, and they're like, yeah, they're like living their dream, and they're like, it's just there. And for some it's like, okay, I can maybe feel it, but you know what I mean? Like there's some kind of like there's a gap, and they're just not really believing it.
Yeah, that's my theory on that is, you know, we all come here with our work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And while Richard Branson or these other people, you know, may have, you know, not that many blocks when it comes to abundance and finances, they still have some work to do.
Yeah.
And God doesn't see it one or the other. It's not, oh, well he's better and they're worse off.
Mm.
You know, it's what the soul called before it even got here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I know that a part of my work is to really stand in that abundance,
Mm-hmm.
because that's exactly who I am. I am a monster. I am so dope. and to truly stand in that,
yeah,
and understand it, because, you know, in an honest, vulnerable moment, I have worthy issues. I have self-worth issues,
mm-hmm.
and I know they come from guilt, from Christian guilt, and from being, you know, black in a society that doesn't actually accept that for the most part. These are things that I get to work through.
Yeah.
So, you know, having this understanding of who I really am, which is this powerful, amazing, beautiful being,
mm-hmm.
which I label dope or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, it's that, which we all are.
Right.
But my work is to stand in that worthiness.
Mm. Mm.
And to know that it is all mine,
mm-hmm.
that the kingdom of heaven is within, and that I get to, you know, shine in it and dance in it and laugh in it.
Yes. And as you're doing that and living from that kingdom of heaven within, and it's like it just trickles out into
Indeed.
everybody and everything else around you.
For sure.
Yeah. So where does that like that true believing come from?
Work. It comes from constant checking in. And what happens is you know, initially that sounds like craziness. You know, work is a trigger word. That's a negative word for most people,
mm-hmm.
right? But what happens is, as we continue to be in awareness,
mm-hmm.
right? When we fall, we don't fall as far.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually your come from, your way of being is the thing that you were trying to work on. And then that's not done, but you're pretty up there.
Right.
And then the new thing comes. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because this never stops. It's just a giant
spiral.
Yeah, it won't ever stop.
Right.
No, we'll never get to a point and go, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
And when we do,
yeah,
that's when we leave these shells.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
There's no them. There's
Right.
In my entire life, there's no them.
Right.
It's always me. It's always a reflection of me.
Yeah.
So I always ask myself, how did I create this? And what am I going to choose from here? You know, I don't think anybody's wrong on anything.
Right.
And there is no enemy.
Right.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
I don't even believe in evil. I was on a date the other day, and this girl kept, you know, pounding home that, you know, some people are born evil. And I said, well, you know, perfect. That's where you are. That's not my understanding. I believe that everybody is inherently beautiful and perfect, whole and complete, and that they were born from and as love, just like Hitler was, just like everybody was. And we are taught to hate and to do things, but that is just love covered up. You peel away the onion, hurt people. You know, as you take away the onion, all you get to is love. One.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, needless to say, we won't be going on anymore, but which is okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's beautiful, right? Right? Because if you look at, you know, this is something that's been so like just illuminated to me lately. But you know, the story, the creation story, or the story of Genesis. You know, God saying, "Do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." Only eat from the tree of life. And now like that is like, oh my God, I say that from a totally different perspective than when I was ever taught in church about it. But it's like, that is, the knowledge of good and evil is that judgment, right? It's like, this is right, this is wrong, right?
That's so real. And here's another perspective. What if there was no Adam and Eve? What if that's masculine and feminine?
Right.
What if that's the different aspects of who we are?
Right.
Right? Because you and I, there's not much a difference between a couple chromosomes, you know what I mean, and some little pieces.
So speaking of that, we're going to end on this juicy little topic.
Okay.
Speaking of dates and all of this, you guys, again, I know you mentioned this is Mustafa that posted this on the Love Mob, but it was so good, and you said that you have, of course, your own, just views to share on this, but it was this awesome image of a couple, let's say, having sex. I mean, the woman's on top and he's on bottom, and you see their chakras, right? Sort of within them, and then like they're connected at the base chakra, and then they're connected at the crown chakra. Is it called the crown chakra?
Yes.
Oh my God! And then just the whole. I mean, I kind of printed it out here. It's a little bit long. I don't want to, I don't want to read it or anything like that. But he says, talk about getting some of what? Before you jump in the sack with someone, jump back and ask some hard questions. And he's talking about. You're about to join your energetic field with theirs. You should know what you are signing up for. Mm-hmm. And so this is just this, to me, this is something that's just been, I don't know, something that I've consistently looked at, because coming from a religious perspective, wanting to save sex for a certain, you know what I mean? And then getting rid of the religion and just being like, okay, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe I do just want to go and just, have casual sex. Maybe I'm missing something. And then trying that out, be like, no, there's still something wrong. There's something that just doesn't feel right about this, because deep within me, I know that it cannot be casual. Like, there's nothing casual about sex.
No.
Oh my God. So I'd love to hear, and you even shared, please just share your perspective on this.
So, I mean, my thoughts for sure are, this is the one thing, like, no doubt about it. What can create a life is sacred. Mm-hmm. Period. Yeah. If you can create another being from it, that is sacred. And that is nothing to play with. Right. That's one. Yeah. More than that. Especially because I was telling somebody I've been practicing celibacy. I don't have a number on it. It's not, when I get to month 6, then I'll, nothing like that. I'm practicing listening. Mm-hmm. And when you're really listening, when you're really tapped into the God voice, to the intuition, mm-hmm. then you know whether to join in somebody's energy field. Right? Mm-hmm. Because we know it's science that we are just vibration and energy. Mm-hmm. We're just a frequency. We're just energy regulations in a space. Right. So if somebody comes who isn't, of the same frequency, and you let your dick talk, or your thoughts about being swept off your feet by this guy with this Ferrari and this, whatever. Right. And you join those force fields, and they aren't of the same frequency, now you have that. Mm-hmm. And some schools of thought say you have it for weeks, some say you have it for months, and some say you have it for life. Mm. So when playing with this sacred thing, which is so beautiful, sex is one of the most beautiful gifts that has ever been gifted to us. Yeah. It is absolutely amazing. Yeah. If you're in a space where you just want to get down all the time, do you? But understand that there are consequences, because this is a cause and effect world. Yeah, exactly. And that, it's not as light as we say. Like, he spoke in there about, what the body is doing. It's creating a carbon copy of itself to push out into another being, right? It's creating things, and that's some serious science. And it's beautiful, and it's dancing through the cosmos in order to meet themselves and create another. Yep, exactly. That's not casual at all. Exactly. That shit is not casual at all. There is freaking nothing casual about that, yeah. I'm reading about and studying Tantra, mm-hmm. and learning and tapping into what it would be like to not even release any of that. Mm. Because, for a while, let's just say this. I am 100% sober and not having any sexual activity as of right now. Right? So what I'm noticing in me is my energy is stupid crazy out of the roof. Right? It's like my eyes are wider, my movements, everything about me, I wake up on fire. And our work as beings, as spiritual beings in a human incarnation is to become less body identified.
Right.
So I don't even masturbate or anything because I'm taking myself away from that. There's people who do not eat. They live off of what they call prana, which is breath.
Right.
Because they are not body identified.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So our work as spiritual beings trying to, grow higher and higher into this vibration, like Jesus did, could possibly get us into a place where none of that is necessary. And that it's just extra. And that, I can transcend all of it. I can have an orgasm right now as I speak.
Right.
And not let anything go,
Right.
I'm doing it now. No, I'm just
that's awkward. That'd be so funny. We're like, and interview done. That's hilarious. But yeah, wow, right? Because it's like, and this is what, again, where it's like a very spiritual concept was taken and made into a religious thing is, the Bible says that the two shall become one. So what that image has with these chakras, like you literally become one with this person. And not to mention that there is no other time other than when a baby is in a mother's womb that you are ever that close to a person, right? Because a man is literally inside the woman. There is never another time that is possible, right? So I mean, that's freaking close, and you're literally creating this like third sort of entity, this like third energy, this third, beingness, and it's like, people have. It's not about being though like, I guess condemned or religious about it. It's just about seeing what's really happening when you're joining like that with somebody.
What's another thing just about me on a personal note? I rose in love. I fell in love with somebody for the first time in my entire life last year. And when we made love, when we had sex, it was cosmic. And I don't want anything less than that.
Exactly.
No. It was a whole nother level of union. It was past just, it was like, oh, shizzle. Like, I was blown to pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me, if it's not that, I don't want it.
Exactly. Like that's what it's meant. That's what it was created to be. Why settle for scraps when you could have the freaking buffet? Like, hello. Like, that's just ridiculous. And that's what I've always kind of felt. So I'm like, there's just, even in times when I've been like really attracted to somebody, it doesn't matter. No, it's just like at the end of that, it's just like, ugh, that's not, that's just not, I know, like I just knew, and maybe that's just me being, in touch or in tune with, my spirit and my intuition. It's like, I've known that's just, no, that's not for me. There's something so much better for me. Like, this ain't it. Like, and I've kind of realized recently, it's like, it's not just about being penetrated physically. It's about being, for a woman at least, it's like, I want to be penetrated spiritually, emotionally, not just the physical penetration without the other just ends up leaving you depleted, where everything else along with it ends up, it's life-giving.
For sure. And my challenge to women when I'm coaching them, because I coach as well.
Oh, okay.
Is, are you an actual open space for that? Because it's one thing to say, I want to be penetrated spiritually and all of these things, but a lot of women, they're testing. They're going, well, let me see. Prove yourself. Right? And already that's not an open space.
Right.
That's, it's weary, it's watching, it's cat-like,
Yeah.
And we want to live, I want to live, we all want to live from a place of annihilation. Like, you can't hurt me. It's impossible to hurt me.
Right.
Because my love will never end.
Right.
So walking in the world with this sort of open, vulnerable heart is the place we want to get to. But it's hard for us to conceptualize that, because all the movies and all the things we've been told is, you hurt me. I had my heart broken one time.
Right.
No.
Right.
You chose your heart broken one time.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole different place of operation.
Yeah. So how do you suggest then women do that, but also still being open, really being open, not like testing the guy or whatever, but then also being so in tune with yourself that you can kind of know when you're going to go there and when it's safe, or you know what I mean, when you really want to create that with somebody or not, you know?
For sure. It's called listening.
Yeah.
And slowing down, you know. A lot of times we get in this rush, you know. And if you just listen in the subtlest way, sometimes God is knocking at your door, and other times it's just like, no, that's not right. You know, it's just little ones. You know, you see them and you pretend not to know.
Right.
You see it and you go, oh, no, that's not it. I didn't see that.
Right. Oh, exactly. Because it is that still small voice sometimes that you just can easily ignore it. Yeah.
Totally. You know, and every time you do that, you die a little bit. You know, when you compromise what you know is true for your soul, you die.
Right.
And there's a consequence to that. And you look up 3 years later and you go, well, I didn't even want him really in the first place. Well, of course you didn't. But your ego did.
Yes. Yes.
Your genitals did. Your longing to have someone hold you in the middle of the night did.
Yes.
But God gave you the answer immediately. Yep. You had it at the gate.
Woo-hoo! Yes. When we practice tapping into it, little by little, it's like building that muscle. It just gets stronger and stronger, and you're more and more and more easily in tune with it. It just flows, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness, so beautiful talking to you. We're going to, yeah, this is just amazing. I'm so glad you joined us, and just so many beautiful things that you shared, and just feel your heart so open. And like I said, just that cool soul flow and energy. I love it.
That's perfect. I'm so glad to be here on Truth Talks. You guys, you're doing the damn thing. You guys you have a beautiful thing going, and this is the work. This is your come from. This is what, you know, we have the Love Mob, you have Truth Talks, and it's all the same.
Right.
I am Truth Talks. You are the Love Mob.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that's so beautiful. Does the Love Mob have a site, or is it just the Facebook page?
No, the lovemob.org.
Oh, okay, cool. And then do you have a site?
I am working on that.
Okay.
It's PrestonSmiles.com, but Facebook is the best place to find me at Preston Smiles Speaks.
Okay. Awesome. And we'll share all this within the post. So thank you again. I'm sure we'll do this again soon, and just, flow again some other time. Thank you so much, Preston. Have a beautiful day.
Mwah.
Mwah. Ciao.
Ciao, bella.